Sacred Heart. I'm Priestess Sahara, and welcome to my healing sanctuary. Last year, I introduced Venus in the Great Year series, as she was still in the constellation of Leo while in a one-year cycle. This represented loving our sacred self. Now that this foundation is established, it's time for the flow of life to move forward. This new year, Venus is having a relationship with Aries. I'd like to share what this means by using some mystical modalities. Keep in mind that this is my interpretation as an example of what I'm feeling as an intuitive regarding a global forecast. When I consider the alchemy of Venus and Aries within my own life, I can't help but feel that I'm right on course. I'm motivated by so much negative world news all over the internet. Here we are together on this glorious planet, and yet we're having trouble getting along in our relationships, our communities, our own countries, and all across the nations. It's important that we step back to really look at the core issues going on by taking responsibility, so then we can make improvements in our own personal lives to affect our soul's journey and the collective consciousness. Looking at this from an astrological perspective, it's important to note that in the first part of Venus's journey, she enters into the underworld for some in-depth life lessons. Last year's theme was all about loving your sacred self. Now, we're all being asked to take this one step further as we begin the process of reclaiming our true self. Part of this requires us to release the misunderstood distortions that we may acquire during our stay in the underworld. Here, we are still processing a metaphorical death and rebirth. There's a healing that could take place within the dark spot in our hearts. It usually happens by making time to face our inner terror, our anger, our pain, our grief, and making time to lament. As we heal the deep agony of whatever is bothering us in our lives, we create the space to re-emerge from the suffering by clearing away the negative energy. Reviewing this from our full being, we could experience a metamorphosis as we are dying to who we believed ourselves to be, so then we could be reborn into who we truly actually are, as self-sufficient, confident, fierce protectors of the cosmic balance, and committed to restoring divine justice wherever needed. During this transformational phase, here are some questions to ponder. While in the underworld, it might help to consider what new awareness have you gained around your personal shadow issues. In what ways have you felt in the dark about your life path, who you are, and what's next for you? What have you resisted looking at within yourself that still needs your attention and awareness? Once we pass through our shadow initiations, we could then arrive to the moment to reclaim who we truly are as independent and powerful expressions of the feminine, rising up to express our true self. Are you ready? This is a time when the wild warrior feminine rises up through the ashes of facing one's shadow self and become the phoenix to reclaim who she truly is. This year, both women and men are all being asked to become masterful at the alchemy of Venus, our inner beauty, and Aries, our outer warrior. This is a fire sign of intuitive action. This year, we will have more of an interest in community and culture. There are strong qualities emerging, such as the fierce feminine within, the warrior protector, inspired action, courage, and commitment. Our intent is to commit to a sacred cause and mission and to live from our wild feminine nature, to find our clear yes and our clear no, and to protect and restore the cosmic order. Our challenges are that in certain areas of our life, we are unconsciously incompetent. We are also fighting for the sake of fighting and doing some black and white thinking and reacting. Our gift during this time is that feeling of being all in with our commitment to courage and having a strong determination and dedication. We also have the gifts of innocence and trusting what we know while not always having all the evidence for it. As we claim this more fully, we could also feel a strong sense of being a pioneer as we forge a path for others. When healthy and not repressed, Aries archetype for all people is a wild and free energy by nature. This fierce warrior Amazon who is committed to furthering the causes one most believes are worthy of one's time and attention, especially if they are about promoting justice and sacred balance. The Aries feminine expression is intended to come from a strong, individuated sense of self that also has a desire to have the freedom to be and do. If there are no challenges to this, one will fiercely protect their freedom, the freedom of those around them, including protecting our beloved Mother Earth. We are learning how to be whole unto ourselves. We don't need help to know who we are, especially if we have a worthy cause to put our energy towards. This collective archetype that we're claiming is fiercely loyal, youthful, spontaneous, curious, adventurous, and playful, desiring to have the freedom that we need to express our independence and strength. Essential, the youthful exuberance of Aries contains within it all the ways of being wild and free. Woo! Here are some questions to ask yourself as you claim your Venus, Aries, alchemical archetypes for this year. What would it take to rise into the light of awareness and fully trust this journey of awakening and empowerment? What would it take for me to fully know my life's mission and purpose and have the courage to step up in powerful new ways? What is my next best bold step that will further enliven the wild being within me? Venus is on a journey to further activate this fierce, courageous, powerful, and strong aspect of the feminine. We know what we want, and we don't like being told what to do. We are ready to right any wrongs while protecting our Earth family. This expression of the feminine is valid and needed, though it has been repressed and denied for thousands of years. Our planet needs her wild woman's strength and commitment now more than ever. This is not about fighting against others. It's about standing for what's just and true. It is about protecting those who cannot protect themselves, including the children, the elderly, the handicapped, and most especially, all aspects of our precious planet. I would also like to add to this year's forecast with some numerology. For example, in 2018 equals 2 plus 0 plus 1 plus 8 equals 11, and 1 plus 1 equals a 2-year cycle. This means that whatever seeds we may have planted last year within our hearts, now we have the opportunity to take care of these seeds by nourishing them. In this second year, the seeds need some help by interacting with others, such as receiving enough sun, soil, water, and air. So ultimately, the theme for this year is cooperation and balance. We are beginning to have a fresh perspective of our relationships with others, as it's a great time to form partnerships. As we learn to work with others in some form, we need to maintain self-care by setting boundaries while defining ourselves in our new course of work or activity. Now is the time to form new ties, alliances, and support networks. So as we merge the astrological and numerological forecasts, it could seem a bit at odds, as our inner beauty of Aries is fiercely independent, while our global numerology is centered on partnership. It helps to take into account what we've acquired last year about self-love. Now we are learning to become more interdependent, as we claim our individuated being while learning to work in harmony within our partnerships. Balance is key, and life lessons will guide us. This Venus-Aries journey that we're on together is best described well by the mythic tale of Venus, who is the goddess of love and beauty. A big part of her abilities are to create and to sustain life. In this grand adventure, she goes on a quest to learn how to unconditionally love Aries, the warrior god of destruction. Together, they create the divine child Harmonia. Their baby represents harmony, which is an agreement between two exact opposites. This is where ethics and morals come from, out of respect. This story is a metaphor about keeping the equilibrium between our yin and yang aspects within. People are often mirrors all around us when we're whole or off balance. Remember, in this series, we're also celebrating the great year, which is the precession of the equinoxes. We've just completed 12 astrological ages. That's over 26,000 years. And we've also left the age of Pisces and have entered into this new age of Aquarius. The divine feminine goddess has been dormant for over 4,000 years, so it may feel a tad uncomfortable for both women and men to claim our inner feminine authority, but certainly it's time. What this means is that this new Venus-Aries cycle that we're in is extra special. It may be our only chance in our lifetime to activate this warrior authority inside of us. We will crave to express it with our meaningful life purpose while living into this 2-year cycle, as it's working together in partnership. I know it's a lot to ask for, but we have the celestial stars in our favor to trust that we are exactly where we need to be, to fully claim our divine power in this lifetime. Okay, I'd like you to join me in a ceremonial prayer to bring to life what I've just shared with you and to ground this into your being. I am opening up to being the wild, free, independent, playful, determined being that I am. I am committed to furthering worthy causes that I believe are part of the cosmic balance. Wild essence within, teach me more about who I am and how I could have more fun while also courageously standing for justice, fairness, equality for everyone, and to have genuine respect for others. Give me the strength to be the fierce, independent person that I am, but to also hold space for the desire to be in conscious, equal partnerships while knowing how to honor both needs. I am opening, I am opening, I am opening. I am opening. I am opening. I am opening. It is done. It is so, and so it is. Blessed be.